Hi, welcome to the
No,
Ekklesia.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Sup?
Oh, that's right.
Try it again.
Somebody sent me a picture.
Oh, no.
And somebody sent me a picture. It's of Jesus and the disciples. And it says, and the disciples supped with Jesus. And Jesus is going, sup.
Sup.
And they're all answering, sup, 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 sup. I mean, it's not sacrilegious. It's just funny. It's a
Sup.
funny, sup, 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 sup. I got you. Sup, sup.
Revelation, he's going to sup with you.
Sup. This is the Ekklesia, and we are talking about
What are we talking
episode
about?
2 of The Chosen. We're the staff of the church at 434. Michael.
Hello.
Leanne.
Hi.
Richard.
From the tribe of Israel.
And Jeff. And we are kind of talking about that episode where we looked at the different perspectives of Shabbat along the way. And we've been talking about the characters and the moments we remember. This particular wrap-up of that would be, we're going to talk about the impact of you've watched the episode.
golly.
What is the impact of that? Or what are your takeaways? There's going to be more than one. Because I think it's a pretty, as we've been talking, it's pretty rich episode as far as memorable moments and things that we see in the midst of all of that. So, but what are your takeaways?
I wish I was Jewish.
What?
Because of how they celebrate.
Did you get that?
I
Did you
know.
watch it?
A Christian Jew, but yeah. Finding myself intrigued as I'm learning what Shabbat is and what all happens in that, and that, I mean, the whole community just kind of stopped. Life stopped. I don't know that it did for the Romans, but if they're watching the Jews, then I guess for them it would shut down as well. But just things that are built into how they live life that force them to worship and really drive that, because left on my own, I can get distracted with so many things where if obviously Sundays are my days of worship and I do, and that's a conscious choice and effort I'm making, but outside of that, it just seems like the prayers that they pray as they're going to bed and they wake up is seeing reflected in other episodes that are just, this is what we say, this is how we honor God and what we do, and just really keeping that focal, that I wish my culture had more of that in there, I guess.
It's funny, for the longest time the church would live and move by creeds and catechisms. And we brilliantly said, we don't need that stuff
we don't
anymore.
want that.
We don't want that. It's too rote, it's too whatever. And so the net result is,
Yeah.
Yeah, a total abandonment. And we were talking off camera earlier about when Jeff was a lot younger, that people in my neighborhood would back out at the same time on Sunday morning. We didn't go to to the same place, but we went to our different houses of worship, and it was, Publix was not open,
Yeah.
nothing was open, restaurants were not open. My dad had to go buy milk at a 7-Eleven. It was, almost like the unholy thing to do was to, put your hand over here and go get something to eat. I was not allowed, if I didn't go to church, I was not allowed to play outside in the afternoon. And so there was that element that you're talking about, even, in my Christian background. But over time, it has been eroded away to where I am the only one that's leaving my house in the morning to go to worship that I see. I am the only one.
You don't bring Wendy and the kids with you?
Well, sometimes. My family.
Your family.
My family's the only one on 417 coming to work. I mean, I can't coming to worship.
You're the only ones on the whole road? You're it?
That's it. I mean, there's nobody there. You go, 90 miles an hour. Sorry. There's nobody on that road. So my point is that.
What is the point? Yes.
To win, to Leanne's point of her wanting to be a Jew or a Hebrew, if that's what's attractive about that, then we did have that kind of thing, but unfortunately over the last 50 years, it has eroded away very, very quickly. If you think about 50 years in the whole scheme of things, that's really just a drop in the bucket, right? So literally overnight, this has all taken place in our culture. So
Well,
Yeah.
I can fast forward that a little bit though, from not just your childhood, because again that was a long time
I
ago.
was telling you.
Yeah, yeah. But I can fast forward.
I'm good.
You all right? We have a,
He's done.
we have a technical problem. But when I went to seminary, I went to Fort Worth, Texas, at the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary,
Howdy.
commonly referred to as the Holy Hump. At Fort Worth, Texas, they had blue law still in effect.
There's
So
some
Sundays,
towns now
okay,
that have that, I believe.
you could go
Can't buy
after
alcohol.
church. And out there, a lot of people did go to church. Of course, in fairness, I was at Southwestern, so most people there didn't go. But other people that weren't in seminary went to church.
Yeah.
Went to church. But after church, then you could go and find some restaurants open. No stores, no liquor stores. Blue laws are in effect. The mall was not open. Now the mall was open to go and walk around. And you could walk around and do window shopping. But the stores themselves on Sundays were not open. And so the culture shock for me was that when you get out there, it's kind of like when you coming out of Central Florida where the whole world is open on Sunday, is that after church, you could do lunch somewhere, and then you were very limited. The only thing that was somehow underneath that blue law that was allowed to be open was like a movie theater. They could show movies on Sunday. And so there were very few options. And now this is not that many years ago. Movies were... sure, there were monkeys that were turning the crank on the movies to make them go through with little light bulbs behind them, but neither here nor there. It was it hasn't been that long. So some parts of the country held on to that a long time, and I know that they were even when I left seminary, they were repealing those laws. They were being contested in court, and then they were getting
Because there's
the
money
court was
to be
coming back.
made.
The money to be made.
Kind of
sure.
like Simon. He had to break
Basically,
Shabbat law.
it came down to those religious people are robbing me of my ability to make a living. I would be able to open my widget store on Sunday afternoon. But yeah, very, very much a part of the
But I would say that the guy who owned the widget store back in the day, he
Would've
didn't
been
want to
in
open
church.
because he was going to church.
could very well be true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Impact moments. Well, we did moments. Impact.
You said it in the previous episode, but that idea when Jesus moves in, he doesn't just take over, he allows us to hand over our lives to him. And so Mary's house was still Mary's house, and he was a guest in her home, not bossing or bullying around, or not throwing his weight around, but actually allowing her the ability to live into the giftedness she'd given him. I think that's cool with regards to how God approaches us. He's not taking over, he's just allowing us to hand over.
And he didn't even say who he was right until she asked. Do they ask what his name is? Or she just says, I didn't even know your name, or...
But she didn't know his name.
And he says, I'm Jesus of
Yeah.
Nazareth, because in that barn, something good can come from Nazareth, or something.
Yeah. I thought, for me, one of the impact moments was what was going on at Simon and
Yeah.
Eden's house. Simon was married to Eden, Andrew, obviously the brother, and so in the big, picture of what's going on there, they're having it, but Simon's getting ready to sneak out. He's going to go work, or he's got to go meet the Romans, and that's not going over well. She knows something is up, and it's bad, and so. They started basically. He's going to leave in the middle of the meal. He's going to get his to go, and that creates tension there. To me, it's a high impact moment. By the way, she raises fruit and vegetables, and so when people need stuff, they go to the Garden of Eden. But neither here,
That was bad.
there's tension there's tension that's there, and in the midst of this meaningful Sabbath religious thing. That they're supposed to be observing. There's that moment where Simon is now going to go because he's trying to fish himself out of trouble, basically, and he's trying to unravel the complications that are his world, and he has to push away from the table that is designed to worship and to connect you with God, and he has to push away from that table to be able to go and do that. And ultimately, we know his story. He's going to be Jesus' best friend when it's all said and done. So it's kind of an intriguing kind of thing that's taking place because he's willing to give up and push away out of self-preservation to preserve his family, to do what he needs to do
And
to survive.
what does Eden say too? Because when they're kind of having the spat, and she's like, "Your trouble isn't with me; it's with God. But next time it will be me and God."
Well, yeah, so you answer to him, the next time it's both of us or
Both
whatever
of
it is.
us, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will say this, the big takeaway, how many of us have come to worship on our ride with our loved ones and been at odds and had spats or arguments?
And then you open the car
And
door.
we open the door, and then we get it all together, and we come in and are a happy family. So I thought, she having a spat with him, hey, we're getting ready to have a Sabbath, for goodness sakes. And, they have an argument about it. And I was thinking, how many of us
Nobody. That's weird,
Show up.
Richard. That happens
You
to
know what
you
he's
a
talking
lot.
about?
No idea.
shows up? I can tell by the smiles on your faces.
I should call Wendy though and find out what that's like, right?
No idea what he's talking about.
We don't come
drive-
early and
I
don't
drive
bring our
alone.
families.
Yeah, you guys drive along. That's that whole point.
Makes it different.
But yeah, and the other thing is that Simon, what I'm getting out of this is these disciples were the most unlikely human beings on earth
Yeah.
to be picked by
And likable.
Jesus. I'm starting to get a feel. You got the pitiful, whatever he's got, Matthew, and then you got Simon, who basically is a shyster, if nothing else, and
Con
willing
man.
willing to turn in his own Jews for fishing on the Sabbath.
And so how does
Shabbat.
that make him different than Matthew?
Exactly.
How's he different?
Taller.
He's not.
No, he's shorter.
He's taller.
Yeah.
Simon, I think, is shorter.
Because it's the way they're portraying him. I mean, obviously, there's holy
still-
imagination in
they're
there. But
still-
yes.
I mean, they're playing both.
Screwing their
that
brothers.
little encounter with Matthew and Simon of him owing
Mm-hmm.
money, and then they're basically turning in their own people.
Oh yeah, I think it's
Both
an
of them.
interesting little conflict
Ju-
they got going
just,
on there.
Mirror.
For whatever reason, Matthew's doing it, and Simon's trying to dig himself out of a gambling debt. He's not very good with money,
and a tax debt.
and yeah, so him sitting on the shore praying in the night. If you notice that, he was starting, to have a conversation. I think with "Give me strength," and I don't want to do this, but I got to do this kind of reasoning. I think with the Lord, but yeah, that was kind of an impact moment.
Yeah.
Him having to do what's best for his family, giving up the opportunity to have Shabbat. How many of us have made deals with ourselves that says, look, I know this is not the right thing to do, but once I get this paid off, then I can come back to church.
Well, and negotiating with God too, because
Yeah.
ultimately, as he's pulled away from the table, he's also then somehow in his head, heart, psyche justified. God's going to give me a pass on this, and I can work this out with God later because I really do have to take care of this.
Right.
This is more important.
Right.
Yeah, sure. I think that's pretty high impact. That's probably not a lesson most people pulled out of it. I don't think.
No, but that's what I think, that we make deals with God all the time about stuff we got to do, and we give up the opportunity to experience worship because we got something more important to do, something more urgent to do, not more important.
No, yeah,
In our own economy,
it's
sure.
us. It's us. Or and then you can water that down though, or just something that's more convenient or more fun to do, and we'll give up worship.
I can worship God at the beach on Sunday.
Well, that's kind of the thing. The new church is we're here at your convenience, and so it's not a Sunday morning experience. We stream it online. You can pick it up during the week. You don't have to be here with us, and yet, worship is community, and the convenience of having the streaming that we have is great as an introduction, but I would probably say if somebody's looking at us from afar, go find your local church that you can have fellowship with, you can have community with, that you can have communion with as believers. So, yeah, we've taken that element somewhat out of it because we really compartmentalize, right? I can go do what I want to do. because I can watch this stream on a Thursday when I ain't got nothing going on. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing that, and I think a lot of people are starting to migrate to that because church attendance is going down, right? Not going up. It looks like it gets here's a big church, but overall they're it's going down.
Yeah, and it's good that we're streaming because the hand motions really didn't come into play here.
Well, yeah. I don't have anything against streaming or anything. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think.
Well, it's not us.
Well,
It's
good,
just
because you
all
have to
those
not
people
be
you got to
here.
worry about right there that are watching right now.
But I
Tell
don't
them.
think it should replace being in a community with other believers.
See all those people watching here with you right now?
I'm right with you. You may have a reason that you're there. Do not feel guilty. That is not my intention unless the Holy Spirit comes upon you and you feel guilty. But it was not from me. It's from the Spirit of God. Get yourself to a
Okay,
local
Eden.
community church. I know a good one, the Church of 434. We're open every week.
Hopefully when Richard was in that rant, you saw this little buffering thing going around and around and around and around and around and around and around.
Oh.
It's going to be like that Tom Brady commercial.
Commercial.
What he really heard.
Mom, where's the football shoes? That moment. Other impact of
my.
whatever that was.
That was a long journey. I said,
Woo!
let's
Long
call
ride.
this one done.
Yeah.
Well, it was 1A, 1B for me.
Okay, gotcha. All right. All right. Well, hopefully the episode impacted you as much as it did Richard, and the rest of us as well. But that is our look, or our deeper dive, or commentary, if you will, at the Shabbat. And so we are glad that you joined us. Please watch The Chosen. It's a lot of fun. I like the spiritualized imagination that comes into play there, and I think it brings the story to life in a way that helps you understand it, and maybe resonates with you a little bit more and connects. And so that's our hope. Thanks for letting us be a part of your journey on The Chosen, and we'll see you guys next episode.
I like mine with sauerkraut, by the way.